How's it going, guys? I don't really have much to say today. I don't want to give this loser too much attention because I know that's definitely what he's after, but I found this video that I thought was just too funny. Was just so, like, hilariously up its own ass that I really have no choice but to, like, actually, like, just at least point and laugh at it. I'm not gonna mention who's behind it. I'll only show bits and pieces and clips from it. I'm not even gonna link it, because again, I don't want to give this guy any more attention, because that's clearly what he's after. But this guy is just so hilariously up his own ass that I can't help but, like, shoot spitballs at him.
What are you doing now?
Making a straw
Why?
so I can shoot you with a spitball.
You're not going to do that, and I'll tell you why. This is an institution of higher learning. I am your professor, and you're going to treat me with the proper...
This video is titled George Carlin, the original Redditor, and it has... It has the most terminally online looking thumbnail I have probably ever seen, with George Carlin's face put, like, right next to a Wojak, which reminds me of the whole idea of, hey, I can't disprove what they're saying, so just depict them as a soy jack and a Wojak. That'll teach them. That'll really get people to dislike them. It reeks of the whole, we cannot disprove their arguments, so we need to make fun of their appearance. Which, to be fair, considering that I think this channel is right-leaning, I think that is pretty par for the course, because that's what a lot of them like to do. They don't actually have any arguments to the contrary, so they just depict you as a Redditor or a soy jack, because they don't actually have anything to back up their own arguments, and they know you're right. So already, off the bat, we're off to a great start in terms of him making himself a clown.
I'm sitting there and I have my notebook out and I'm enjoying the show, and I wish I could live 1,000 years to watch this all develop. The rise of Russia, the rise of China, the Muslimization of Europe, the decline of the white race. It's going to be an amazing story as it develops, and I just wish I could see it all. I'm 70 now. I'll probably live to between 90 and 100, I think, and I'll get to see some of it, but it is an interesting, exciting thing to watch if you can detach yourself emotionally.
So off the bat, he shows a quote from George Carlin, or he... Excuse me. So off the bat, he shows a quote that George Carlin says, which I think is a very beautiful quote. The idea of being able to look at the decline of the world around you from a not a state of panic and stress, but instead from a state of just enjoyment and not caring, and stating that he wishes that he could be around forever to see it all unfold, which I think is beautiful, and I think that's actually very aspiring. He says, I'll probably live to be 80, 90. And then this guy pulls the whole curb your enthusiasm, quote unquote, out of his ass. Hilariously, too, because it doesn't disprove anything he said. It doesn't show anything other than, wow, oh no, you mean to tell me he died not too long after that interview? Oh wow, it's almost as if everything he said still holds value. How far up your own ass do you have to be to think that actually means anything? Oh no, he died shortly after that interview and didn't live to be 90? It's almost as if he still said things that hold weight. I should also mention, that's not even how you use a curb your own enthusiasm meme. The way you're supposed to format it is that you have a celebrity or somebody saying something and preaching something, to which is then followed by the dun dun dun, and then an article or a newspaper clipping or something of them doing something that went against what they were just preaching. That's how you're supposed to use a curb your enthusiasm meme. That's how that's supposed to work. But the way this guy set it up, there is no hypocrisy. There's nothing hypocritical about him dying. He literally just said, I would love to be able to live forever and witness everything around me just burn, but I know for a fact I'm mortal. I'm gonna leave this plane of existence at one point in time. And he somehow thinks that's some sort of like a own. This isn't hypocrisy. This is just common sense. And I think this also really proves that this guy is just a clear boomer. Like, he is a boomer. He doesn't even know how to use the curb your enthusiasm meme, to the point that he fucked it up this badly. The meme doesn't work work, and it just comes across as I'm glad you're dead, which for somebody who wants to be sitting up on a moral soapbox saying that George Carlin was the first Redditor and nobody should listen to him, you sure are ahead of the curve, pal.
It all comes back to you. You're gonna be remembered for the things that you say you do.
Get the fuck out of here.
Per balls, you fucking prick. I'll say it again for the dumb fucks in the back. Get the shot and wear a fucking mask.
I don't know if you watched his segment on germs in the immune system. In case you didn't, I'll replay it for you again.
Germs. Where did this sudden fear of germs come from in this country? Have you noticed this? The media constantly running stories about all the latest infections, salmonella, E. coli, hantavirus, bird flu, and Americans they panic easily, so now everybody's running around scrubbing this and spraying that and overcooking their food and repeatedly washing their hands, trying to avoid all contact with germs. It's ridiculous, and it goes to ridiculous lengths. In prisons, before they give you a lethal injection, they swab your arm with alcohol. Well, they don't want you to get an infection. And you can see their point. Wouldn't want some guy to go to hell and be sick. It would take a lot of the sportsmanship out of the whole execution. Besides, what do you think you have an immune system for? It's for killing germs. But it needs practice. It needs germs to practice on. If you kill all the germs around you and live a completely sterile life, then when germs do come along, you're not going to be prepared. And never mind ordinary germs, what are you going to do when some super virus comes along that turns your vital organs into liquid shit? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get sick, you're going to die, and you're going to deserve it because you're fucking weak and you got a fucking weak immune system. So personally, I never take any special precautions against germs. I don't shy away from people who sneeze and cough. I don't wipe off the telephone. I don't cover the toilet seat. And if I drop food on the floor, I pick it up and eat it. Even if I'm at a sidewalk cafe in Calcutta, the poor section, on New Year's morning during a soccer riot. And you know something? In spite of all that so-called risky behavior, I never get infections. I don't get them. I don't get colds. I don't get flu. I don't get headaches. I don't get upset stomachs. And you know why? Because I got a good, strong immune system, and it gets a lot of practice. My immune system is equipped with the biological equivalent of fully automatic military assault rifles with night vision and laser scopes. And we have recently acquired phosphorus grenades, cluster bombs, and anti-personnel fragmentation mines. So, when my white blood cells are on patrol, reconnoitering my bloodstream, seeking out strangers and other undesirables, if they see any suspicious-looking germs of any kind, they don't fuck around. They whip out the weapons, they wax the motherfucker, and deposit the unlucky fellow directly into my colon. Into my colon. There's no nonsense. There's no Miranda warning. There's none of that 3 strikes and you're out shit. First defense, bam, into the colon you go.
George Carlin hates the idea of cleanliness and is as far against the idea of sterilizing everything and wearing a mask and forcing people to wear a mask as possible.
And I say, if any kid wants to go see a drag queen, who the hell cares? I mean, really, what difference does it make to you? A kid is a lot safer with a drag queen than priests.
And then followed up by a quote that he would probably actually say, which this guy fails to understand is right. Actually, no, he's right. If he were alive today and he were to say that, he would be completely correct. 100% true. Like, what's the point here? What point are you trying to make?
There's a meme that's been going around Twitter the last month or two where people will post a picture of George Carlin with a made-up quote designed to sound like what Carlin would be saying.
First and foremost, I can't take this guy seriously because he uses a Greek statue as his icon and as his entire persona on the internet, and that just reeks of being so far up your own ass and thinking you are just always right. Because, look at me, I'm a Greek philosopher. I'm a Greek philosopher, you have to agree with me, because I'm a Greek philosopher, huh? Like, it just reeks of being so far up your own ass and not being able to be taken seriously. Because, dude,
you're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
I hate to be the one who has to break this to you, pal, but just because you use a Greek philosopher as your profile picture doesn't mean you're some intellectual, deep philosopher. It just means you're pretentious and you want people to view you as smart.
Okay, now one of your biggest things ever was the 7 words you can never say on television. It was piss, shit.
You want the right order?
What was the order?
Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits.
I love the fact that he puts Wojaks here as if that means anything, because I could literally do the exact same thing to him. No, actually, watch, I'll do it.
I don't think there's anything particularly terrible about what Carlin is doing here. It does sort of smack of teenage rebelliousness, like edginess for the sake of edginess.
Like I said, it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. It's literally nothing but, like, I don't know, ad hominem? If I'm supposed to take that as a bad thing, it means nothing. It's a complete nothing burger. You didn't even make an argument. Literally all you're doing here is just pointing a finger and laughing. I also want to say that it's hilarious that you say that this is a teenage viewpoint, because it proves that you are genuinely that far up your own ass that you view any viewpoints to the world outside of your own to be immature and one that a teenager would have, rather than actually seeing these as opposite viewpoints or other viewpoints or alternative viewpoints. You would rather shut them down and call them something that a stupid teenager would say. Like, bro, actually get the fuck out of here, bro. You are so far, you are huffing your own farts, bro. It's actually hilarious.
I did edit in those soy jacks pointing, just to be clear, that wasn't part of the original HBO programming. I just couldn't help myself.
We know, dumbass, we know.
But if I were going to critique it, I would say that there is a sort of surface level logic of who cares what you say? These are just words and you know what we mean anyways, and we can imply them, but we can't say them, and that's silly. That is the type of thing that maybe seems profound.
I'm gonna have to stop you right here. George Carlin never claimed that what he was saying was profound. He was never claiming that what he was saying was just an absolute revelation. He was simply pointing out the hypocrisy and in a lot of the regulations and the rules that we throw out there that don't really mean anything. They're superficial. It's nonsense.
But could also be pushed back on if somebody was willing to.
Yeah, if you're a pussy.
If we all agree that free speech is vital part of a free and open democracy, it doesn't mean that there can't be a discussion about what is appropriate for certain venues.
It does, though. Sorry to break it to you, because when you say certain people aren't allowed to say certain things in certain spaces, that is infringing on your free speech. When you are telling somebody you're not allowed to say this in this specific area, that is against your free speech. Period. End of discussion. It's not up for debate. And the fact that you think it is up for debate says way more about you than it does anything else, or anything George Carlin ever said. It's also hilarious because this is the same kind of person who would probably bitch about getting his comment removed for saying something incredibly racist. Like, I guarantee you this guy has probably made quite a few racist videos in the past that have just been completely smited down by YouTube, and he's just gotten so bitchy over it. I guarantee you this is the same person who says, oh, most of the crime in this country is black, and then bitches and moans when the video gets taken down for racist content.
Public television was accessible not only to children, but there's also just an argument you could make that maybe you don't want to glorify profanity and vulgarity to the general public, lest you wind up with a vulgar and profane culture.
Is this guy grandpappy or something? Is this guy like some senile old man in the retirement village? What is happening here? What are you actually yapping about anymore? Oh, we can't glorify bad language because then we might grow up with a mass of people who swear. And what's wrong with swearing? In your rotted mind, you can't comprehend the fact that swearing is just perfectly fine and that there's nothing wrong with it. They're words. What are you, a pussy?
There never seems to be any discussion from people like Carlin or Stewart on, is there a line at all? And if so, where is it? I mean, if you should be able to swear and use any word on television, should you be able to show porn? And if not, why not? These are just images after all. They can't hurt anyone. What about snuff videos?
The difference is, and this might be a real shocker to you, but pornography and snuff films could do legitimate damage to a child's brain development, or just brain in general, if they were to view it. However, if a child hears a swear word that they can't comprehend the meaning of and nobody ever tells them the meaning of, there is nothing that is going to damage them about that. They're just gonna hear it and move on. Like, the fact that you are trying to compare porn and snuff films to vulgar language is mind-blowing. Like, wow. That's another level of being up your own ass, bro. Alright, this video is already running on way longer than it probably should have, but I had a little bit of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I had some fun today making fun of this guy, because I just couldn't help it. I can't help myself. This guy is such a loser that I can't help but clown on him and his stupid opinions. All I can really say is this entire video is basically just ad hominem the video. It is, I can't disprove that he's wrong, so I'm gonna point and laugh at him and depict him as something that he isn't, because he disagrees with my specific opinions, and how dare he? Like, that's literally how this entire video comes across. You disagree with my specific political beliefs and alignments, so therefore you're terrible and everyone should be glad you're dead. Anyway, if you guys want to see a part 2 of me making fun of this loser, feel free to let me know, but until then, peace out and I'll see you next time.